Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. Well, as is usual, we have a lot of stuff to cover. We've got Camilla, we've got William, we've got Charles, we've got a little bit of Catherine, and we have this lovely lady that you see above, Miss Holocaust Survivor, who won an award. We're going to cover Whoopi and even a little bit of Boozy today. There's a lot in here. Let's go. We're starting up with Catherine's Shaping Up campaign, which was put up in lights in the Piccadilly Circus. How cool is that? Now, you'll be happy to know that Catherine, with all of this, has set up her own Instagram account specifically for the Shaping Us campaign. So you can go on Instagram. Again, this is a little over my pay grade, but you can go on Instagram, you can sign up, and you can see some of the stuff that she's doing on there. I love that. All right, next up, Leeds is where Catherine, the Princess of Wales, was the other day. You know, she went to the mall and then she went to the university. Well, they posted some pictures taken by themselves behind the scenes, which I thought it would be nice to put them up just so you could see what they were seeing. Fabulous. There you go. All right, next up, Beatrice was out and everybody's talking about this dress she was wearing. They were talking about how short it was. I have to be honest, it doesn't look that short to me. Apparently, it sells for 195 pounds, and it's called a trapeze dress. She was there to attend the 2040 Organization Roundtable, which is a leadership organization that brings together the next generation of exceptional young talent. Apparently, Princess Beatrice is the patron. She was there to discuss the purpose of education. I think that's lovely. I'm glad that she was able to participate. All right, moving on. Next up, Sarah Ferguson, touched, I guess, by the news that her daughter is pregnant again, decided to give a small insight into her life on her social media platform. Apparently, Fergie went to Norway for 3 days. She was there with her daughters and their husbands, and she carries this little red, I don't know what that is, but she wrote, "I take little red wherever I go. So, and then they announced again about her daughter being pregnant. So this is the third time that Sarah is going to be a grandmother. You know, they said it was a secret trip. I don't understand this whole secret trip thing. And I also don't know if Andrew was there with them. What difference would it have made? They've been living together since their divorce. They've been together for like 15 years? It's like it's not a secret anymore. All right, moving on. Next up, while we're talking about Andrew, Virginia Giuffre is seen for the first time in a year out shopping in Australia with her support dog near a place called Perth. Now remember, she's set to release a tell-all memoir. While she was at the mall, she bought a milkshake and she went to a stall called H&M, which I don't know what that is, but apparently it's very popular. And it's on the same day that Alan Dershowitz is urging Prince Andrew to challenge the settlement that this woman got. Interesting. Andrew now is saying that there are serious questions about her credibility, even though he's already settled the case. And Mr. Dershowitz said that Andrew made a mistake in not taking that case to trial, and he should now try to overturn it. And there are many good defenses that could be raised. Personally, the fact that she perjured herself in court, I would think would be enough. I'm going to keep an eye on this story for you guys. I'll let you know if there's any updates. All right, moving on. The Queen Consort Camilla was presented with the Canadian Forces Decoration by Canadian Brigadier General Dwayne Parsons during a reception for the Queen's Own Rifles of Canada at Buckingham Palace. That's a mouthful, but good for her. She received this award in recognition of her 12 years of service as their Colonel-in-Chief. Very nice. Congratulations, Camilla. Next up, I need your opinions on this. I told you yesterday that I loved this red outfit that Camilla had on, and they're claiming she was in pink. I'm missing something. I'm not colorblind. That doesn't look like pink to me. That looks like red. Okay, you guys, so pink or red? Because it looks like red to me. All right, moving on. Next up, Edward, the Earl of Wessex, stepped out as the guest of honor at the Radio Times annual covers party. I love that green tie. Very nice. The party is for those who were featured in the cover on the last year, for the last year. And this September marks the Radio Times 100th anniversary. And the event also welcomed cover stars from across the decades, including newsreader Angela Rippon and Sir Tony Robinson. And at the event, Edward got 2 commemorative Radio Times cover featuring the Queen, who was the first ever to feature the then Princess Elizabeth in October 1940, and the Radio Times Platinum Jubilee cover from May of 2022. Very nice. Interestingly enough, the late monarch was featured on the cover of the Radio Times magazine 53 times, more than any other person in their history, 10 as Princess Elizabeth, 43 times during her 70-year reign. Good for Edward. I'm glad to see him being recognized. You know what I mean? I really like him and Secret Weapon Sophie. All right, moving on. Here we go. Investitures. Aren't you guys happy I'm saying it right? Investitures. We're starting off with Pauline Quirke, who was made a member of the Order of the British Empire for services to young people, to the entertainment industry, and to charity by the Prince of Wales at Windsor Castle. Other people who received their investitures are Bonnie Tyler, I love her music, for services to music, Dr. Shirley MacRae for services to hockey and the community in Northern Ireland. So lots of people were there, lots of people got awards, lots of people were at the investiture, but one person in particular was important for me, and that's Holocaust survivor Lily Ebert, who's 99 years old and was made an MBE at Windsor Castle. She was there with her great-great-grandson, and she stated, "You know, not long ago, there were people who wanted to kill me for my religion, and today I receive this honor," she said from the castle, in a room which celebrates the life of the Jewish Queen Esther. Words cannot express how much this means to me. Very touching. All right, there was somebody else with the investiture that's causing a lot of, people are talking about it. Professor David, I hope I say this right, Olusoga. He was awarded his honor by Queen Elizabeth in 2019. I believe he wasn't able to get it, maybe due to COVID. I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, after he got the award, then he went in the Netflix documentary and made all those horrible statements about the UK. So now, apparently, he has requested no publicity about it. And everybody's like, I wonder why. Gee, are you kidding? If the Queen had known about the book and what he was going to say, he wouldn't have gotten it. All right, moving on. The Spotify boss, I've already told you about this. The guy from Spotify said, I got carried away on spending $18 million on this 3-year contract with Harry and Meghan. And the person who was responsible for that, by the way, stepped down. Also, the person that was responsible for what happened at Netflix also stepped back. Remember that? Well, it sounds like Penguin Random House is having some issues also. So they signed up for this deal with Harry, and then in November, the merger deal with Simon and Schuster got scrapped. And now the person, the head of Random House, who signed the deal with Harry, has now resigned her position. Unbelievable. Her name is Gina Cantrello, and apparently she's decided this would be a good time to retire and remove herself from everything that's going on. I think this is a good time for you to cut and run. Another Markle situation. Interesting. All right, here we go. The Sussex squad are at it again. So Princess Catherine wears her very tailored, gorgeous red suit to the BAFTAs the other night for the pre-launch event of her, the early education for children. And her Sussex squatter saying she copied Meghan. Okay, I want you to look at this outfit. Not even close. Why is it if Meghan wears something red, then Catherine is a copycat if she wears something red? I don't get that. And you can't really pull that argument when you look at this next picture that's about to come up. So cheers to Fluffy Avenger, because here is a full spread show of every time Meghan has copied Catherine. But this is what they've started. So if Catherine wore a white jacket and then Meghan wears a white jacket, they're calling it a copycat. Same thing in reverse. But that's the Sussex squad doing that. It's inevitable. Catherine's been in the royal family for a long time. She's worn a lot of different colors. We know that Meghan has copied Catherine in a lot of ways, right down to her hairstyle. There's been plenty of times that she's copycatted. Sometimes it's really obvious, like in this picture. But guys, there's only so many colors in the rainbow that you can wear. All right, moving on. All right, next up, Harry and Meghan are apparently being warned that if they show up for that coronation, they're going to be booed. That what happened to them during the Platinum Jubilee is nothing compared to what's going to happen if they show up for that coronation. Now, they acted like they didn't hear it, and they smiled and put on a brave face. But of course, they later on put out statements. They heard the booing. I'm sure they saw the nasty looks the people in the church were giving them. I'm sure they were aware of all of it. But what it comes down to is they're going to pull a stunt if they come. It's obvious. And we don't want them stealing the thunder. Now, articles were put out saying that the Archbishop of Canterbury was contacted and he's being used to broker some sort of a peace deal with Harry and Meghan. And this article came out and said, yeah, we don't think so, because he was the one who prepped Meghan for the baptism and the confirmation and guided them through their wedding preparations. And Mr. Welby was very upset after Meghan told Oprah he'd married them secretly in the backyard before the wedding, which was untrue and would have been illegal. And that, therefore, King Charles, if he really is trying to set something up, is going to have to find another go-between. However, we've also heard that all of these stories coming out about them having a sit-down are all coming from California, nothing from the palace. And as part of the coronation, let's keep in mind, and this is true, that their entire Sussex brand is founded on constant whining and complaining about the way they were treated by the family, and they were only in for 3 years. They've been out as long as they were in. It's just what they do. It's tiring. All right, next up, this story really caught my attention. We all remember when Prince Louis was christened and everybody was asked to wear, I think it was cream or blue. And of course, Meghan showed up in a puke pea green outfit. So right off the bat, she wasn't following the rules. Anyway, Harry apparently spent £8,000 to purchase an original 1926 Winnie the Pooh book for Louis as a christening gift, because he remembers being read that book by his mother growing up. Now, keep in mind, this is during the same time, according to the Spare, that he's so poor they had to buy a couch with Meghan's credit card for that little hovel they were living in on the palace grounds. All right, this next story came out that Meghan told Harry, I need space. Basically, she's hanging him out to dry, which we all knew was going to happen eventually. But that's why, even though Harry's not going around making appearances anymore to push his book, that you haven't seen any photos of them together. Very interesting. Next up, one of my subscribers, Springsteen, sent me this, saying that they believe that Harry is on Facebook, because this channel is up. Now, if it's not him, it's supposed to say, like on Twitter, it's supposed to say parody account or whatever. And this one doesn't. So they think that he's on social media. Listen, I've always said that they were always on social media. All right, moving on. Next up, a big thank you to Unlikely Bot for finding this. This was on Twitter. I found this very interesting. Apparently, Sussex Royal was positively gushing about the Commonwealth when they were involved in representing it. They were honored. By July 20th, they were criticizing it, talking about its uncomfortable past. I believe this was right after they were told no to the whole half in, half out deal. By December 22nd, they were now calling it Empire 2.0. Very interesting. When they didn't get what they wanted, they suddenly just flipped the script. I'm telling you. All right, moving on. All right, moving on now. We already know this. I'm just going to touch on it again. Their gamble to live in the United States is not paying off. People in the United States don't like them because they're sick of their whining, essentially. All right, now we're going to move on to something different. Mr. Ahmed, who is a journalist, I'm not exactly sure where, but he put up this tweet which really caught my attention. He's insisting that maybe Christopher Bouzy stole the idea for that Spoutable from this gentleman who launched a social media app for the Black community only. And he's saying that because apparently Mr. Bouzy is going to go ahead and told you he's doing this Twitter alternative called Spoutable, which is apparently only for people of color, from what I can tell. But here's the interesting thing. I wondered how he was going to make money on it. Apparently, it would appear from the comments that people are going to the site to pre-register and to sign up. And unless you commit to giving money, it doesn't let you on the website. And people like this person are saying, listen, I'm a senior citizen. My money is tied up and I don't have any extra to give you. So I guess that's how he's going to make his money. If you don't give some money, they're not going to let you on the site, or Bouzy's not going to let you on the site. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the next thing that we're going to cover, the last thing, I don't even know what to say about this. Whoopi Goldberg, it's being reported, allegedly, asked if white people needed to get beaten to death by the police. And it's coming out that ABC is not going to renew her contract. The things she said about the Holocaust, these kinds of comments, they're unnecessary, unwarranted, and they're a bad look for ABC. It would appear that Whoopi is done. Interesting. All right, you guys. Now, the fundraiser is over. We've raised all of our funds. I just have to figure out how to PayPal goes from PayPal to my bank account. I have to figure out how to go from my bank account to PayPal. I'm working on that. As soon as I'm able to get my 500 in, then we're going to send the money. Now, you're going to think I'm nuts when I say this. I have been unable to find the documents that I showed you guys, the person who I wanted to donate the money to. But I went online and I believe I found him. He's had multiple articles written about him. You guys take a look. He started the charity in 2017 because he not only helps the elderly and the infirmed with these, he calls them water boilers. I want to say water heaters. That's what we call them in the United States. I think that's the same thing. But he also gets food for the shelters and the food banks. So this is where the money's going to go. Here's some information on him. Look it up for yourself. If you guys have any qualms about this particular charity, let me know before we donate the money. That's why I'm putting all this up for you now while I'm still figuring out how to transfer my money in. Okay? All right, you guys, you know what I want. First of all, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you have already hit the subscribe button, go ahead and double check and make sure you're still subscribed. Yes, people are still being unsubscribed. No, I don't know why. It's a YouTube thing. I can't help you with it. I wish I could. Number 2, leave your comments below because you know how much I love those. Number 3, go up into the description box and you'll find the links to Twitter, Getter, Rumble, my Patreon, and my email. For those of you who've donated to the coffee fund and through my thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.